radio starts right now.
Hi, good morning. It is Wednesday, June 23rd.
Got a bucket list?
Not really, but
Really?
maybe we should get one, right?
Apparently so. If you can get paid for writing something off your bucket list, doing something. So bucket lists are, a lot of people have bucket lists. When you get a little older and you think, man, I should have done that, I should have done this, and then you get a bucket list.
Do you have one?
Sorta.
Sorta.
The irony of this particular contest, I guess you would call it, is it's like an insurance company is hosting this thing.
It's called Choice Mutual, and they want to celebrate life by paying one person $3,000 to check an item off their bucket list and share their experience.
So if you're terrified of heights, if you want to contact your biological parent, ready to finalize your schooling, maybe get a master's or something, if those are on your bucket list, then what you do is you enter this contest and you explain all about your bucket list. And you can get, what, $3,000 for doing that? So how are you supposed to enter? You're supposed to be 18 years or older, a U.S. resident. You have to tell the company about your bucket list, and you have to get paid for checking off one of those items if you win their little contest.
Yeah, you have to share also the top 5 items on your bucket list and which item you wish to cross off for the dream job, and you have to tell the story behind it. And you also have to explain why you haven't completed your bucket list as well.
Because it's hard to catch a jet overseas these days.
I'm sure there's lots of reasons why. So how to apply, ready? Let's see, how to apply. How do I know if my application was received? Yeah,
there's all kinds of information there. But the irony is it's an insurance company, and a lot of people have like dangerous things on their bucket list, like, you know, skydiving or doing one of those where you jump off a cliff with a parachute or whatever what is it? I don't even know what that's called anymore. Or you fly around in one of those little things off the coast of California, off the coast.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're...
All that kind of stuff.
I won't do it.
So I'm wondering if they sell you insurance before you actually do one of your items on the bucket list before they give you the $3,000.
You think there's a catch?
I don't. There's always a catch.
Well, I didn't see it. I didn't see it in the article, but, you know, I guess once you win...
Yeah, once you go online and apply and see what...
Maybe you'll find out.
And taxes, very good. Dylan, producer, goes, $3,000 doesn't come free.
No, we haven't applied yet, so we don't know all the details. But yeah, that's a contest going on by Choice Mutual.
Yeah, I don't know if I can put down more time on the couch. My bucket list.
Is that on your bucket list?
Can you get paid $3,000 for more time on the couch?
I don't think you're going to win, David. I'm sorry. Let's look at today's 9 at 9. A police chase through northwest San Antonio ends with a woman in handcuffs. Police say a woman became belligerent after officers asked her to leave an active scene. The woman apparently rammed into a police unit and several other cars before taking off. She faces multiple charges.
Governor Greg Abbott calling lawmakers back to the chambers on July 8th for a special session. The governor did not specify what priorities will be included on the agenda. He says those details will be announced closer to the meeting date.
The 2 former suspects in the Austin shooting have been set free. Police are now naming 19-year-old DeAndre White as the gunman. 1 person died as a result of the shooting and 13 people were hurt.
Later today, President Joe Biden will reveal his latest plan to curb gun violence across the nation. Biden's renewed effort builds off of an initial set of actions he took in April, strengthening regulations on ghost guns, limiting stabilizing devices that make guns more lethal, and investing money in violence intervention programs.
Democrats will have to find a new way to pass voting rights legislation after the Senate failed to advance the For the People Act. The bill received 50 votes in the Senate, short of the 60 needed to overcome a GOP filibuster. The legislation includes provisions Democrats say would make it easier for people to register and cast their ballots, such as expanding early voting and allowing for same-day registration.
Home prices have jumped into record territory. The National Association of Realtors says the median price for an existing home topped $350,000 in May, the first time that's ever happened. Prices are being driven by a shortage of properties and low interest rates.
For the first time in more than 2 years, Britney Spears is expected to address the court in the ongoing battle over her conservatorship. Spears will virtually appear in court today. The 39-year-old has not been in total control of her finances and other important life decisions for 13 years.
Kobe Bryant's widow, Vanessa, and other families have settled a wrongful death lawsuit with the company that owned and operated the helicopter. Earlier this year, the NTSB said the pilot pushed the limits of the weather when he decided to fly that day.
The march to an NBA championship continues for two more NBA teams as the Milwaukee Bucks and Atlanta Hawks face off in Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals. The game starts at 7:30 tonight, and that's today's 9 at 9.
NBA playoffs still going on?
Well, yeah. Are you checked out because the Spurs aren't there?
Actually, I did watch a little bit last night because we're trying to find out where the Spurs are going to pick in this upcoming draft because they had the draft lottery. So, and RJ will be here in a little while. We'll talk about that.
I heard it was a good game.
So yeah, I didn't watch the game, but just watched where the Spurs ended up.
My mom watched the game. She said it was pretty good.
Okay, well, see.
Take her word for it.
We need to bring your mom on then.
I know. I'm going to ask. We could do a debrief with
superb analysis.
Mrs. Cerna, right? Justin's over there.
There you go. I'm sure she's a big fan of who?
Well, the Spurs, and now she's going for all the underdogs. So she was very happy when the Bucks won.
I like that.
The Bucks are playing well right now.
Yeah.
They really are. 81 degrees outside. We've got mostly cloudy skies. A lot of humidity this morning. No surprise. Dew point is at 76. South-southeasterly winds at about 8 miles per hour. 95 degrees high temperature today. Of course, it will feel like it's around 100, 101, 102. We're going to be kind of stuck in a pattern here for the next couple of days, but here's the good news. We have rain chances headed our way. I think by next week, some decent chances. Outside right now, you see some of the clouds really starting to break up. A couple showers out to the east. These are not moving into our area. Do want to caution you, though, mold. It's high today, 1,460. The rains yesterday seemed to kick things up there. 95 degrees your high. Can't rule out a stray shower on the coast, but really most of us are going to stay dry. We'll talk about those rain chances and how good it's actually looking coming up here in just a few minutes, guys.
Hey, thank you so much, Justin. Well, we are here this morning at 9 because we had a major crash that happened in the early hours of this morning. Now, this is a view from TransGuide at I-10 in Comfort that our friends over there got us at TransGuide. You can see it doesn't look like much is going on out there, but we want to show you the map really quick before we get to some video. Now, this crash was reported around 3:30 this morning on TxDOT's website, right around I-10 eastbound at FM 289, and it has been there again for quite some time. And now take a look at this video from earlier this morning. We had a crew that was actually out there on the scene. You can see that we had multiple first responders that were out there responding to this crash. Now, while it's not clear what caused it, it did lead to some delays for some drivers during the early hours of the morning. There was a little bit of a backup, but again, this has been out there for several hours. And right now, TxDOT is reporting that there is a road closure. The highway is closed. You can see that truck damaged out over there. So we did just check in again on their website. It does say that the highway is still closed right at I-10 eastbound at exit 533. They're encouraging folks in that area to exit 534 due to that crash, so that way they can get it clear. This is between Bernie and Comfort, and we've been watching it all morning long now. While it does look pretty clear out at this time, we do want people to be cautious because we do have first responders that are likely still out there working to get this scene clear. We'll continue to track that crash for you guys here, so stay with KSAT for the very latest.
All right, Stephen, thank you very much. More top stories today. An update to that shooting across the southern border in Reynosa that left 19 people dead over the weekend.
Officials there are now saying rival factions of the Gulf drug cartel led to the deadly violence. Trucks carrying gunmen drove into Reynosa where the suspects started shooting. 14 out of the 19 killed were innocent bystanders. 4 of the gunmen were among those killed. Businesses there closed for the weekend in protest of the violence. Many who live there say the government isn't doing enough to protect the public.
And San Antonio police asking for help finding the suspects in multiple burglaries at Market Square over the past few days. Police believe those pictured here on your screen burglarized and in some cases damaged several vendor tents in Market Square during Fiesta. One vendor reported their booth was hit twice in 2 days. Items stolen include wallets, purses, hunting knives, and utensils. If you recognize them or have any information, you're asked to call Central Property Crimes 210-207-7990. Once again, that number's on your screen there for you.
If you're looking for work, you're in luck. Later today, Visit SA is hosting a big job fair over at the Alamo Dome.
The event is aimed at helping the hospitality industry right here in the Alamo City. Hotels, restaurants, entertainment venues looking to fill hundreds of job openings.
Members from more than 25 businesses will be at the Dome to interview applicants for entry-level, part-time, temporary, and full-time positions. Right now, San Antonio is seeing a surge of visitors, and there's not enough help to keep up with demand.
We need people who who've been missing in the workforce for whatever reason to come back out and join us. Our hotels have been very busy. We've had a very busy April, May, June. Our July will be very busy as well. And so candidly, we're all running a little short-staffed.
That job fair is happening today from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Alamo Dome. It's a free event, and applicants can park in Lot A.
More than 150 workers at Houston Methodist Hospital are no longer employees.
Some of them quit and others were fired yesterday after a 2-week suspension period ended. A judge dismissed their lawsuit against the hospital for requiring vaccination against COVID 10 days ago. The workers claim the vaccines are, quote, experimental and dangerous.
The Federal Equal Opportunity Commission said in December employers are allowed to require vaccination for workers re-entering the workplace and for new hires.
Houston Methodist argued Texas law only protects workers from termination if they refuse to commit a criminal act. The hospital says almost 25,000 of its employees have been vaccinated. In your morning headlines, scary video from a burglar break-in with 2 young girls fast asleep and an ancient mummy meets modern times.
Plus, some cows on the loose, not in Texas, in California. RJ Marquez joins us with those stories and a lot more. I wouldn't be surprised to hear it happen in Texas.
Definitely not.
Maybe.
Yeah, no, it's I'm hearing it described as a moving pursuit.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we'll get to that video. Pretty cool video. We'll get to that here in just a bit. But first of all, guys, let's start with a major earthquake in Peru that shook streets, buildings. You can see this video behind me, and even an entire newscast. So this newscast was underway, and you could see the camera shaking because of this 5.8 magnitude earthquake out there in Peru. So there were no immediate reports of damages. The U.S. Geological Survey said the quake had a depth of more than 31 miles. Unbelievable. The quake was felt in Peru's capital city of Lima, and some rocks even fell onto the roadway in the city's Pacific coastline. So earthquakes are frequent in Peru, which lies on the Pacific's so-called Ring of Fire. Still some pretty scary stuff. That's like a sky cam, basically sort of like our TransGuide cameras. So scary stuff there. Okay, guys, speaking of some scary stuff here, some unsettling video this morning out of Pennsylvania that's really any parents or guardian's worst nightmare. Check this out. In the middle of the night, a burglar, you can see that behind me, climbs right through a bedroom window where 2 small girls are sleeping. So this chilling surveillance video shows a man moving a fan from a window. Then he reaches over, you can see that right there, and after a few tries, he shuts off the lamp. Not long after that, the video shows what could be even another man climb through the window. And then the surveillance camera just goes out. You can see this individual right there. The girl's mom said she had no clue of any of this until the next morning when she noticed everything was a mess in the room.
I walked in the girls' room, their light was out, the lamp was out, it was all unplugged, like it was pulled from the plug. And the window was wide open with the fan out. It just scares me that the fact is my kids could get kidnapped, killed, taken from me.
Yeah, so that mother right there saying that, of course, that was a scary scene. Those girls are 3 and 4 years old and are okay this morning, so there's been no arrest. And the girl's mom says the only thing that was taken, or stolen in this case, was an iPhone. Okay, moving on to an interesting story here. An Egyptian mummy that has been around for centuries is catching up to some modern medical technology. The ancient mummy recently underwent a CT scan in Italy. So this is all part of a new research project to discover what the mummy looked like, how he lived, and how he died. Researchers also want to see what burials looked like 3,000 years ago. The mummy has been in Italy since 1885 and currently in a museum. They believe he was a priest.
The mummy we have here is a mummy of a priest. His name is Aket Konsu. The name meaning is the god Konsu is alive. All the information we have about the mummies come from the coffin. So on the coffin is written the name 5 times. We are not sure exactly if this mummy is really the priest, because in the past, with the antiquity market, was quite frequent to associate a mummy to another coffin.
All right, so some interesting stuff there. Researchers believe this mummy's name that you just heard right there was placed on that coffin all the way back between 800 and 900 BC. Okay, and finally this morning, this video we were talking about. Imagine driving to your house late at night and seeing a herd of cows running loose on your street. That was the case in a California neighborhood when at least 30 cows escaped from a nearby slaughterhouse. So maybe makes some sense there. Aerial footage shows at least 20 of the cows running down roadways, then cutting through yards and trampling bushes. Los Angeles County deputies came to help round up the wandering herd, you see right there. So no one was injured, but one cow was shot by deputies because it was apparently getting close to a little kid. Authorities said by late Tuesday night, most of the cows had been corralled into trailers in a cul-de-sac. So I couldn't imagine driving home and seeing that scene out there in your neighborhood.
Yeah, it could be dangerous.
Yes, absolutely. And apparently they were moving pretty fast. So never actually run across a sort of a wild animal out there anyways.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Just an utterly ridiculous story.
Wow.
Thank you, Arson.
There you go, David.
You had to throw that
Thanks,
in there. You knew that was coming.
Yeah. Time now is 9:13 and still ahead on GMSA at 9.
I want you to have a moving experience on Wednesday morning. It's Wednesday, and that means we have Katie Blake with us for another Katie Science Lab. Go ahead and get these ingredients ready so you can make your own instant ice. And boy, do we need some ice these days. You'll need a bottle of water, some ice cubes, a bowl, and a paper towel.
Also later, Fiesta continues in the Alamo City, and tonight you can mix cultures and experience all the best of German beer and food, but with a Fiesta twist. Details on this year's Fiesta Garden Fest coming up.
And also coming up later, we're going to introduce you to Jenna. She plays a vital role in the San Antonio Fire Department. Things were tougher than normal during the pandemic, though. Her story is coming up. Plus,
and good morning, I'm Max Massey. We are here at Discovery Village, a big event this weekend helping the Alzheimer's Association, plus a new drug sparking optimism. We're going to explain right after the break.
And welcome back. It's about 9:18. We know Alzheimer's disease is a big problem across Texas and especially in South Texas. A new drug has been granted accelerated approval from the FDA, and now it's sparking some optimism.
a lot of people excited about it. There's a big event going on this weekend to help raise money for our local Alzheimer's Association. Max Massey now joining us live from Discovery Village with what's going on out there. Max?
Good morning, guys. Take a look at this beauty. This is just a preview of what we can expect here at Discovery Village this coming weekend. Now, we are joined here with Greg, the Executive Director of the Alzheimer's Association here locally. So, Greg, what should people know about this weekend?
Well, we'll be out here on Saturday from 8 to noon at Discovery Village at Dominion. We'll have over 100 cars. And we're here to have a good time, raise money and awareness for those living with Alzheimer's disease.
Goal to raise about $20,000 for the local association. Where does that money go? How's it used?
Well, it helps us provide care and support for those living with the disease today. And ultimately, it helps fund research so that we can move past this disease and find a cure for Alzheimer's.
Speaking of a cure, David just talked about it a little bit of optimism now. Can you talk about the new drug?
Yeah, so FDA approved a drug called aducanumab. It's the first drug that's actually designed to attack the biology of Alzheimer's disease, to remove plaques in the brain, to slow the progression of the disease. All the others on the market to this point are really symptom-based. They're designed to mask symptoms. So really, really enthusiastic about the possibility. It's not a cure. This is not the end of Alzheimer's, but it's an important first step.
And we talked about it earlier. What does the timetable look like?
Well, it's an infusion-based therapy, so it's not exactly just a pill. It's going to take a while for them to kind of ramp up supply and to figure out the logistics. We're hoping within the next couple of months. I know the first actual doses of Aduhelm, which is the name of the drug on the market, have been released for the general public. It's going to take a little bit, so we just advise folks that are interested to talk to their general doctor about whether it's right for them.
All right, Greg, thank you so much. If you guys have any questions, we're going to have so much more on this at the News and Noon, of course, KSAT.com. David, Stephanie, back to you guys.
All right, we look forward to that. Thank you, Max.
It's so good to hear some positive news when it
Yes.
comes to Alzheimer's. It affects so many people. Oh, man.
Definitely good news.
All right, it's hot, it's humid. Thanks, Justin.
Thanks, Justin. We'll
Back
see
to
you
you.
later.
Yeah, that's about all I got right now. No, down the line, that's what we're excited about. We have some rain chances, and maybe it'll cool us down some too. And I hate to mention this. Every time I do, I feel like people get mad. But let's talk about triple digits. Where we are. I know, see? Send the emails to David Sears.
Don't be mad at me.
Our average
to do with it.
first 100-degree day here in San Antonio is June 30th.
So we still got a week.
Yeah, we haven't quite got there yet. The earliest 100-degree day we've ever seen, February 21st, 1996.
What? I don't remember that.
Yeah, that was not a fun day. The latest is September 1st, 1985. And guess what? We've gone through 23 years where we haven't had a 100-degree day. So it can't happen. Whether that will be this year, it's hard to say, but we're staying in the 90s for now. So that's good. Just want to give you some of that climatology. And yes, the temperatures may not be in the 100s, but the feels like temperature will be. Heat index values will be above 100, I think, next couple of days. It's one of those situations where it's been that way the last week, where you got to be kind of careful out in the afternoon hours. But as we get towards next week, the temperatures will drop, and therefore the heat index will drop some. There's a situation outside. We've got mostly cloudy skies, 83 degrees at Stinson, 82 Kelly, 80 at Randolph. South-southeasterly winds at about 7 miles per hour. Clouds trying to break up some, and we've detected a couple showers here and there across the city. Very quick showers. I mean, like 10-second showers, but they are showing up on radar. 80 degrees Randolph, 83 Stinson, 79 Bernie Stage, 82 in Kennedy, where the sun is out completely there. 85 Cotulla and dew points. They are still extremely high. We've got dew points in the 80s around Gonzales, and as we've said, this is about as high as they go. So the heat index will be a problem today, especially in places like Gonzales, Beeville, Cotulla. Here in San Antonio, we think the heat index will be somewhere around 101 to 103. I mentioned some of those showers. We are detecting them. I mean, you got to catch them quick here because they pop up and go away. You may use the windshield wipers for, 10 seconds. That's it. We're not expecting much more of that today. Most of the really good rain is down there across deep South Texas, Brownsville, getting some good rain this morning. Here's what our forecast looks like going forward. Our heat high does try to build in, but it's brief. It kind of makes its way across Texas and then really kind of falls apart. This is Friday, still in control, but by Saturday, squeeze play is on, and we basically get the high pressure to go away. As we get into Sunday, we could see a couple showers along the coast, about a 20% chance here in San Antonio. And then by Monday and Tuesday, between some good moisture coming in from the Gulf and maybe a weak front trying to work into Texas and just an overall unsettled pattern, looks like we'll have some decent chances for rain. It'll be the scattered pop-up downpours that we see every now and then, and hopefully that'll keep temperatures down some too. Here's what the forecast looks like. Temperatures in the mid-90s next few days, 95 Saturday, 92 Sunday, 20% chance of rain, and then rain chances go up from there. On Tuesday, 40% chance of rain.
Okay, real quick, what was the average? June what?
30th.
June 30th. When is
Next
June 30th?
week.
What day is that's next week? What day is it?
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Yeah.
I didn't see any hundreds on there.
No, so we're not mad yet.
Appreciate that, guys.
Thank you, Justin.
Yeah.
Oh, but wait.
Time now is 9:24. Still ahead on GMSA at 9.
Behind the scenes of how Jenna the fire dog gets her training and how the pandemic has impacted her job. And among the San Antonio Fire Department is one key member who steps in when something just doesn't smell right.
Yeah, this is Jenna. She's an arson K9 who has been with the department for the past 4 years, and she sniffs around to detect if any criminal activity is involved.
And as Elisa Barrera reports, like many of us, Jenna also had to resort to Zoom meetings during the pandemic as part of her annual certification.
She spots water and it's playtime for Jenna. But any sighting of the treat belt, ash, and smell of smoke puts Jenna in work mode for the San Antonio Fire Department's arson team.
She's an accelerant detection K9, arson dog. And so she's trained to sniff for ignitable liquids.
She can detect even the smallest drop of a hydrocarbon-based liquid, including gasoline, lighter or diesel fluid, and scented plugins.
She's trained to pinpoint the highest concentration of an ignitable liquid. Good girl.
Each time she picks up on the scent, she sits to alert her handler.
Show me.
And to be rewarded with food.
Good girl. Good girl. Oh, good girl.
According to press, Jenna has responded to nearly 100 fire scenes, but every year she has to prove she's still fit to be one of San Antonio Fire's finest.
They train all year long, and then once a year they get to show, hey look, all of this training is effective.
The pandemic forced the process to go virtual as part of State Farm's Arson Dog program, a program designed to combat arson fraud.
There's taxpayer dollars that go into fire investigations, there's overtime pay, and then there's also the what the likelihood of prosecution for arson crime is when a dog is on the scene, because that dog can pinpoint where there's evidence. That evidence then can be collected quickly before it degrades.
Even over Zoom, Jenna once again proved she's an integral part of the fire department and is standing by 24 hours a day to sniff out the next scene. Alicia Barrera, KSAT 12 News.
And there's a lot more ahead on GMSA at 9.
Still coming up. Now, the Spurs aren't in the playoffs, but boy, have they been busy over the last couple of weeks. We got some updates for you coming up in just a few minutes.
And Katie is coming up with her latest science lab, how to make instant ice. Take a picture of the ingredients so you can follow along.
Where was she Monday night when we needed her at the
ice.
parade?
Right.
Introducing your 2021 Fiesta Royalty, powered by your local San Antonio area Chevy dealers.
Hello, my name's Rebecca Wynn, and I'm this year's Queen of Soul. Viva Fiesta!
Meet this year's Queen of Soul. Rebecca graduated at the top of her class at Judson High School and is now majoring in early childhood development at Our Lady of the Lake University.
I was playing my violin one day, and the kids that I was teaching, they saw me and they just started waving at me, and it was like a beam of light flashing down, and I knew at that moment I want to start my own daycare.
As Queen, she is making an impact in the community.
With the Queen of Soul organization, I've been able to work with council members to help the community go out and register to vote and complete the census. I've also been able to visit schools and encourage young kids that they can do whatever they put their heart to.
When it comes to Fiesta, Rebecca is probably one of the very few city residents who will experience it for the first time.
After 20 years of living in San Antonio, I've actually never been to a Fiesta event. But I am looking forward to it all. I'm excited to experience like the different people in our community to come together.
And when it comes to pursuing her hobbies, it's a hands-on affair.
I am pretty creative with my hands. I play the violin, a little bit of the ukulele and the piano, and I love to knit and crochet. Anything that involves hand, I'm running towards it.
And it is day 7 of Partying with a Purpose, and the Fiesta events are far from over.
Oh, tonight you can get in on fun. It's a different kind of twist to a traditional Fiesta. Garten Fest mixes all the German culture with Fiesta.
Yeah, sounds good. So here's a look at the details. It starts at 5 p.m. and it goes until midnight at the Beethoven Hall and Garden. That's an authentic, family-friendly beer garden near downtown. If you buy tickets online, they are $8. If you buy them at the gate, you'll pay $10. We have the link to buy tickets in our Fiesta section of KSAT.com.
So let's give you a little bit more about Garten Fest. It's dedicated to the German heritage here in San Antonio. You're going to have a chance to munch on some German food, bratwurst, Reuben sandwiches, Bavarian-style pretzels, and then, of course, you're going to wash it down with more than 20 kinds of German beer.
The pretzels sound great right now at 9:35 in the morning. And a reminder about a party that hasn't stopped, Fiesta de los Reyes in Market Square. That is one of the largest free celebrations that the whole family can get involved with. They have live entertainment every day and, of course, all the fan favorite foods. This event is a fundraiser for college scholarships produced by the Ray Feo Educational Foundation.
And as Steph just said, the fun's far from over. Still a lot on the list of events to look forward to. The Pooch Parade, a day in Old Mexico. All of it can be found on the Fiesta section of KSAT.com right now. Big list of stuff.
Yeah, also on KSAT.com. David Sears' picture.
There we go.
There you are, right there.
That makes you want to go to that website right there.
Yes, Viva Fiesta.
Myra.
And Myra, of course. Let's take a look outside with live cam. It's a humid 82 right now.
David looked a little cooler in that picture than he did at the River Parade.
Yeah, the seasons change.
It has been hot for Fiesta events, but that's not stopping people, and that's great. Just be careful out there with this heat the way it is. Heat indices will be up around 100 again today, even going into the 5-6 o'clock hour tonight. Temperatures right now sitting in the low 80s. 81 degrees at the airport, 80 Randolph, 82 Gonzales, 80 at Canyon Lake. The clouds are really starting to scatter out now, so the sun is going to be in full force by the time we get into the afternoon. See the situation here. We have had a couple spotty showers this morning, but they haven't amounted to much. Very, very quick showers. Forecast for today, 90 by noontime, 94 by 3 o'clock, 95 by 5 o'clock. Just a 10% chance of rain, and that's for our friends down closer to the coast, I think, with some maybe a sea breeze shower or two. Southeasterly winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. We'll keep these temperatures staying warm through the weekend, but some changes next week, and some changes I think you'll like. We'll have a look at that forecast in just a few minutes.
Thank you, Justin. So today is National Hydration Day, very appropriate. And to celebrate, Katie Blake is back with another Katie Science Lab. So David had to run off to help her. Let's check in with them for how you can make your own instant ice at home, and a very good time of year to do that.
Oh my gosh, yeah, very fitting. I mean, we could have Hydration Day every day now until that first front gets here, which may be Halloween. So yes, thanks for pulling double duty today, David.
I want to know where you were
Hardest
Monday night.
working man. We're with the ice. Well, so for the rest of the Fiesta events, you get a little too hot. Now I'm going to show you how to make instant ice. So 2 different ways we're going to do this, and I'm going to be honest.
Okay. Honesty is always the best policy.
We may hit a few road bumps because this particular experiment is all about time and temperature. Both of those things have to be just right. And because this is live, I think I may have frozen our bottles too much already. Before we get started, here's what you need.
Okay.
You'll need some bottled water. Probably multiple bottles so that you can try this out. You may have to do it a few times. So several bottles of water, some ice cubes, a glass or a plastic bowl, and also some paper towels just to clean things up. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to start off by trying a flash freeze, David.
Freeze.
What you're going to want to do is put your bottles of water in the freezer. You don't want them to freeze completely. These bottles that I stuck in our freezer, I left them in a little too long. I didn't check on them enough, so they already kind of froze. So that's my bad, and that's just part of being a scientist, right? So at home with the kiddos, put these bottles in the freezer.
Wait, hold on.
And depending on how, some of them are still okay. So we're gonna give it a shot. So we're gonna take that bottle, David, and you're going to try to bang it on the table just once.
Really?
And pretty forcefully.
Okay, hold on, I got to put my glove on because it's cold.
And the idea is that the water, once you leave it in the freezer for an hour, start at like 45 minutes and then check it every now and then. The idea is you want to get this water to a super cooled state to where the temperature of the water is below freezing, but it hasn't changed phase yet and become solid.
Okay, say when.
Go. Try it.
How many times do I get to do it?
You just we'll just keep trying. I'm going to keep trying it too. See what happens. See? So
well, look,
the
there's
problem
a little ice floating in there.
Yeah, it already had the ice in there. So if you do this at home correctly, which is not how I did it today, you're going to see, it's not going to work. You're going to see the bottle, everything, all the liquid in your plastic bottle change over to ice. And it's really cool. I tried this at home last night for myself and I got it to work. So this is where, again, the temperature is really important, because what's going to happen here when this flash freezes is that by creating that force on the water bottle, it's going to cause the water that's already super cooled to those molecules bump into each other. And something called nucleation happens, and then that starts the freezing process for the rest of the bottle. Nucleation.
Nucleation?
Yeah, yeah.
That's like a big word for the kids at home. So see, Mom, teaching that big word.
Yeah. We're doing that, but we're also learning about phase change and stuff like that from liquid to solid. So, but what already happened is because this froze and part of it became solid, that was the start of the nucleation process.
Cool.
So that's why the flash freezing isn't working. So that's one thing you can do. Another thing you can do, which it's very slippery over here. So I have some ice here. I managed to keep my ice nice and frozen. You can put some ice cubes in a bowl, and then again, taking your water bottle out of the freezer before it has frozen. It's still in its super cooled state, and you have to do this within a matter of seconds. You would pour your water over the ice cubes, and it would actually make new ice. So when you pour the water, new ice would grow. Nothing's happening right now because I don't have it right at the exact temperature. So
what's the exact temperature? Do we know?
You would want it to be, it's at that super cooled state, so it's 32 Fahrenheit or a little below, but before it has had time to freeze and make ice. So this is something that is going to require a lot of patience.
Can't even get the lid off of this one.
And multiple runs, trial and error. So this is actually a really good way for the kids to learn about the scientific method and all that kind of stuff. So yeah. When I saw this the other day, I was like, this would be cool to do for National Hydration Day. But when it comes to live television, science doesn't always play nice. So try this at home with the kiddos. And if you are successful in growing your new ice or doing the flash freeze with the bottle, I'd love to see photos or video. You can submit photos or video of you and your families doing our experiments right now on the Katie Science Lab section of KSAT.com. We're not going to let this water go to waste. It will definitely be consumed.
One more time.
One more time.
I appreciate your commitment.
Yes.
I really do. Our freezer here at the station is very strong. Stronger than mine at home, so it didn't take long for them to freeze. I was like, no! So anyway, that's
I like that it teaches patience.
That's science.
Yes, and we need that in science.
Mom's going to need a towel, though.
Yes, well, at least it's just water, so that's not too bad.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
All right.
Time now is 9:43, and there's a lot more ahead on GMSA at 9. We'll be right back. And welcome back. Sorry, laughing at Justin over there. Well, the Spurs are obviously not in the playoffs, but that hasn't stopped the news for the silver and black. You're like, say what?
Say what? All right, but a lot of things are going on with the Spurs, so we're going to walk over here and join RJ. We're going to talk about a lot of things that happened over the last week. I mean, the Spurs have been busy.
Yes, they have, David. I was hoping you keep on the lab coat because we gotta figure some things out in here. We're getting into the Spurs lab trying to figure out just a couple of things going on here with the silver and black. Of course, the NBA draft lottery last night. Spurs end up with a 12th pick in the draft. David, off the top of your head, what do you think they should do with this?
Keep it. They don't want to trade it. Who do they want to trade? They don't want to get rid of these guys. They've been working too hard to get these young guys to start playing over the last 2, 3, 4 years, like a team and getting them developed. And DeJounte Murray is so much better. Devin White, we'd like to see him come back healthy and play a whole year healthy. We don't want to get rid of these guys. No, don't trade that pick.
Of course, the video you're seeing there, Devin Vassell was the number 11th pick last year. Played pretty well in some spots. So, yeah, this is the entire youth movement. I think that they hold on to it. Looking at a couple of names, Franz Wagner from Michigan, and also maybe a Texas kid, Kai Jones. Should be an interesting one.
We can have a Texas kid on our team.
Draft taking place later on this summer. Okay, David, now to the latest with Becky Hammon. A lot of news here. So she's officially a finalist for the Portland job. There are reports that the Blazer owners would like to hire Hammon, but the GM there is looking more at Chauncey Billups. Becky has also interviewed with Orlando.
There's like 7 jobs open in the NBA right now. I mean, she's got a great chance to get it. My thoughts are, I hate to lose her.
Yes.
I've been saying that all along. She's grown up with this team. She's grown up with this organization. She played basketball here with the WNBA team. I just hate to see her go someplace else. But you also want to see her get that opportunity. And if it's not here, if the Spurs aren't ready to make a move and put her in that position yet, then, don't be passing up opportunities to make your mark in the NBA.
Yes, and in Portland, she, of course, would have Damian Lillard. Orlando would be more of a rebuilding job. Just don't go to Dallas, Becky. That's
Oh, please, no.
Don't go to the Mavs. We don't even want to. Let's not even
Houston.
think
Don't
about
go to
that
Dallas
yet.
or Houston.
Yeah, Houston, I think they have a head coach, but yes.
Well, you never know these days.
That's true.
I mean,
that changes by the minute.
Dude in Orlando got fired after 1 year, so I mean,
All right, David. Okay, last bit of news and notes here. Of course, Spurs ownership. So this was kind of a developing thing over the weekend. So some big changes here when it comes to the leadership structure. First thing is Peter J. Holt, who is the son, of course, of Peter Holt. The Holts have owned the family for years. He's now the managing partner. But the other big news is that you just saw that guy right there, Michael Dell, the chief executive of Dell Technologies out of Austin. He is now one of the bigger investors here. So, David, what are just your overall thoughts on this move here? And obviously tying a little bit into the Austin market.
Yeah, it's interesting because, they've had so many investors over the years. Remember way back when B.J. Red McCollum was selling the team and they ended up with, I think it was at the time, it was 22 different investors stepped up to keep the Spurs here in San Antonio. Then they went from the Alamo Dome to the AT&T Center, and they signed that long-term deal with the AT&T Center. But that deal is starting to run out sometime in the next 3 or 4 years. I think it's 2024. I believe that's when that deal is. So, and now you've got Mr. Computer Mr. Billionaire from Austin.
It'll be an interesting move. I think the biggest thing is that the Holts still have a majority ownership, and that also they do obviously say that they are committed to San Antonio. So there we go.
Yeah, that's what they're saying to us now.
Oh boy.
We've heard that song and dance before. So I just bringing it up. We've heard this before, but hopefully they are committed to San Antonio. Now they may move the arena somewhere, like maybe up 35, so Mr. Dell doesn't have to drive as far. But he could take a helicopter.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's probably got 3 or 4 of those.
No problem. We don't want to share.
No.
Spurs.
No. Yes, keep it here.
They are the San Antonio Spurs.
There you go.
I think they ought to build the Hemisphere Arena again myself. Wow. But anyway, that's
that's a whole other discussion.
That's another story.
Yeah. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
I'm not mad at you because you didn't bring
You're not mad anymore.
No, well,
Okay,
you
that's
didn't bring the triple-digit temperature, so I'm okay.
Yeah, well, it'll be in the mid-90s. It'll be hot. Pretty typical June weather. Now, you take Gordo for walks every now and then, right?
Yes.
Okay, so this is what we got to remember. Just a quick reminder here that when we get temperatures up to 95 degrees, the grass gets up to about 90. The shady grass is about 90. The grass 105, but once you get over to the concrete, it can warm up to about 125. The asphalt gets up to about 140. And paws on the puppies can burn at about 120. So you got to be real careful here this time of year. I know a lot of folks know that, but it's always a good reminder just to throw out there with temperatures the way they are. Right now, we've got mostly cloudy skies, and there's bugs going crazy there. 81 degrees, south-southeasterly winds at about 7 miles per hour. Humidity is up there at the moment. 81 Canyon Lake, 81 New Braunfels, 82 Hondo, 85 Castroville, one of the warm spots this morning. 80 in Del Rio, 86 down in Cotulla, 82 in Victoria. Dew points mid to upper 70s. It feels like this map has hardly changed at all. These numbers came down a little bit yesterday, but they're right back where they were over the weekend and last week. The humidity is just really stuck in place here, and the forecast heat index is going to be up around 101 today. We'll see heat indices so well into the 100s down to the south of us, and then east where those dew points will be fairly high, New Braunfels and Gonzales. Looking at the satellite picture, we've had a couple of very, very light showers. Those have gone away for the most part. Just some partly cloudy to mostly cloudy skies right now. And I want to look at the big picture here. Good news for those in the desert Southwest. The ridge pipe pressure is actually moving in our direction and is no longer over those folks where they were just baking for several days. And in fact, there is some rain. But as we get into the weekend, there's going to be some really hot temperatures up across the Pacific Northwest. We get sort of a pattern change here. And it is actually good for us too. This high is going to move out of the way, move east, and then eventually kind of get smushed and go away. And then we'll get some showers, hopefully, as we get into next week. I think starting Sunday, and then Monday, Tuesday, some decent rain chances. Very quickly, if you're heading out to Nyosa tonight, it will be hot. Keep in mind, it'll be around 95 when things get underway, and it stays pretty warm all the way through. Heat index near 100 through the weekend. We'll get some rain chances Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. 40% chance of rain on Tuesday.